Hoi hoi, it's louisity again, and it's time for me to talk about the great books that I read in 2025. Hurrah! So I'm gonna make it a little bit more positive right now because that other video the other time that I uploaded is talking about disappointing ones, which is kind of like an annual thing anyway. But I realized, as well that I read a lot of great books as well, and as part of like the annual tradition, just like a lot of booktubers, we are going to talk about the great books that I read in 2025. So let's not keep it long. Without further ado, let us begin. So let's begin first with a reread, starting with Passion by Lauren Kate. Now, if you've been watching my rereading vlogs of the following series, y'all probably think that my reading tastes have changed, and I actually thought of it that way because this was the only one that I really enjoyed. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars upon my reread, which is a little bit lower compared to like the perfect 5 stars when I first read it. I can really tell that during these rereadings and basically my reading experiences with other books in general have made me think about that my reading tastes indeed have changed. Now, I still love the time travel aspect of it, and it was vividly depicted. I have a rereading vlog of it in my channel, so yeah, feel free to check that out about how my journey was. But yeah, so far, this still was pretty good. It's still enjoyable. Let us now talk about the books that I read for the first time in 2025, beginning with Water Moon by Samantha Sato. Now, to be specific, great books that I read for the first time in 2025, and this is one of them. The Goodreads average rating of this one's 3.78. I kind of see where that kind of rating stands because it does have magical realism elements that it might be a little bit convoluting for some other readers, but for me it was depicted clearly, and maybe it's because I've been reading a lot of Samantha Sato books, and I know that kind of she has this element of magical realism in her books a lot, especially when you read when you've read Love and Gravity by Samantha Sato. That depicts a lot of kind of an unusual, kind of quirky kind of story and writing altogether, and it tackled themes of regrets and what ifs vividly. It made me think about the song by Cup of Joe Multo, and because it does talk about having a pawn shop where you can kind of pawn your regret, and it makes you think about what if these things in my life or in our lives didn't happen. So I remember joining the book talk for Water Moon in April 2025, and yeah, Samantha did mention about what you call this, regrets. So yes, by the way, if I did not mention correctly, her full name is Samantha Sato Yambao. Okay, all right, and it is a bit dark, but not really that depressing. I do have notes, by the way, so in case you might see a paper flipping. Yeah, you can feel that it is somber, yet it is still, because maybe it's because the way that the world was built, at least the way that I was visualizing it, was kind of enchanting or kind of sparkly, if that makes sense, magical. But it has a lot of somber moments, from the characters' situations, the love, that the whole I'll never be this, I'll never be that. If you want to know, better read this one to know what I mean about I'll never be this and all that. There's a little bit of a love triangle, just to let you know, and I thought the situations that go around love here between in the love triangle was depicted vividly. So yeah, here you go, Water Moon by Samantha Sato Yambao. Up next is Moymoy Lulumboy. Oops, didn't raise that. Moymoy Lulumboy, ang Lihim ng Libro by Segundo Matias Jr. Now, its Goodreads average rating is 3.83. Now, the scenes will definitely captivate you. It talks about the burden and impact of choices because, yes, our character here, Moymoy, he had to make such a huge decision for Amalao. That was tough. and it was filled with surprises. And it's kind of going to be a bittersweet thing for me that the next book is going to be the last one. Finally, I get to finish a series, and at the same time, a beautiful series is about to end. Whew, will I finish reading the series in 2026? Who knows? Like I said, like this book, it's filled with surprises. Next is Bungalow 2 by Daniel Steele, which has a Goodreads average rating of 3.85. Now it is emotional and thought-provoking. Basically, like the things that happened like in this story are just really sad, and like what our main character went through, different relationships, kind of like the bungalow kind of like served as like the haven for those relationships. And yeah, specifically it does talk about tenacity over heartbreaks and learning to have self-love. And I think this moment is, like when I was reading this one, I think I was having a bit of a moment because I value like, self-love, because that would uplift you, because at the end of the day, the one aside from the Lord who's going to be uplifting you the most would be yourself. So it's very important to embrace that in order for you to continue loving. Woo! We went to different topics right now, but yes, that is what I thought about Bungalow by Daniel Steele. The next book, I'm pretty sure that Rick Riordan fans are going to be happy. It is The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan, which is the third book in the Trials of Apollo series. Now, as you've watched my reading vlogs, I've been liking, the first two books, but just kind of like, but this one I really enjoyed. I really loved it. It was tremendous. Rick Riordan's magic is back, y'all, and I hope it continues as I read throughout the succeeding books. And Meg's characterization and circumstance would be something that I connected, and the way it was written, it was impactful. How she discovered about her powers, and how basically that she was a lot more than what she thinks, and even perhaps the other characters of what they thought of her. She was just amazing in this novel. You can check out my reading vlog of this one with my reading experience. So yeah, I find this book amazing. Amazing. And welcome back, Rick Riordan. Next on my list is Night Road by Kristen Hannon with a Goodreads average rating of 4.27. It tackled forgiveness effectively. It does tackle about motherhood, because this follows the story of a girl who was imprisoned because of an accident, and she kind of accepted a plea bargain, and then kind of a lot of things kind of have changed with I guess prison life and all that stuff. And it does deal about motherhood, because one of the guys, and kind of the teenage love, as you call it. But when I was reading this one, it made me unleash emotions like anger, yet at the same time hope, because as I go through the story, I was just hoping for things to kind of be better. And it's kind of sad also how main character's daughter was kind of being outcast at school. I really felt that was effectively done. And it talks about justice and mistakes, how long should somebody pay for them, how much should they pay for them. And also, with Kristen Hanna, we know her writing historical fiction, but she's also an effective contemporary general fiction kind of writer, because it gave me kind of Daniel Steele vibes, which was really cool as somebody who reads a lot of Daniel Steele's work. So yeah. The next on this list would be, I'm on the 4.5 out of 5-star reads, would be Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Now, its Goodreads average rating is 4.31. Now I have a reading vlog of my reading experience that was really epic. It was really a journey. I was able to finish this despite the thing that I found out in life, with Pinoy Big Brother, but not really me. But if you've been following me on my other social media accounts, you probably know what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about. But anyway, back to this book. I enumerated some things here. Socio-political topics were discussed vividly. Colonialism, and more importantly, classicism was discussed. It's going to make you contemplate, make you think about them, your stances or your thoughts about it. Tackles if the saying, life is how you make it, is if it is true. the infighting that was happening among the tribes. You know, you get curious about the circumstances of the characters, and if you want to know more about it, read this one, y'all. Read this one. I finally was waiting for the right moment to read it, and I'm like, finally, I was able to start. So I've been wanting to, you know, jump in the Burning series. It just took me a while for me to acquire a copy of this one, but you know, the moment that that prompt appeared in my Alphabet TBR game in October, or for my October 2025 TBR, I decided to pick this one. And the last one in my 4.5 out of 5 star reads list would be Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Now, I listened to the audiobook of this courtesy of Everon. It has a Goodreads average rating of 4.37. Now, overall, it was definitely an interesting reading or listening experience because it does tackle about comparison. It was tackled clearly. Faith, religion, creed is tackled. Identity and traditions are also being challenged here. It does talk about that part. You know, also I think for people that are looking for like gay or bisexual guy reads, and probably like the story of like the brother in the story might be something that would, you know, captivate you. So definitely give this one a chance. Whether you're going to be reading this, you know, with your eyes, or if you're going to be listening to an audiobook of it. And hold on. As far as I remember, it was Elizabeth Acevedo who narrated the audiobook. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but yes, definitely recommend this one. I'm looking forward to read more books written by Elizabeth Acevedo. Now let us head on to our 4.75 out of 5 star read, which is only one, by the way, just a little bit of an advance. I only have one perfect 5 star read, so stay tuned to what that book is. But let's first talk about my only 4.75 out of 5 star read, which is the first book that I read in 2025. That would be The Last Fallen Star by Gracie Kim. Also another one that I have a reading vlog, and I remember like reading this during my like LRT adventures kind of vlog, like one of my day in my life vlogs. So it tackles about reputation, like fair chances, deception, mixture of action and slash plot and lessons, suitable for any age, even if, you know, those themes are tackled. Some of them could be heavy, but I think that even if it is somebody that you're going to be asking a 5th grader or 6th grader to read, definitely this is a good one. I'm definitely excited to, you know, move forward with the series. Definitely a lot of the things here surprised me, you know. Yeah, if you want to know what I mean, you better read this one. Read this one. And the last book that I'm going to talk about in this video, which is my only 5 out of 5 star perfect read, would have to be New From Here by Kelly Yang. Now, its Goodreads average rating is 4.29. Now, it talks about the pandemic in a lighthearted way. By the way, be cautious of that, because it's going to bring you back during like the first like month or first like 3 months of the pandemic or the quarantine. And what really struck me in this one is it's like it has its positive spin on ADHD, specifically that scene where Nox's dad said to treat it like a superpower. It also reminded me, and it was kind of like timely when I like read this one, because I remember how like one of the like the current Pinoy Big Brother housemates, upon the time that I'm filming this, Joaquin is like partially deaf, and he also mentioned about like how he was taught on how to treat it like a superpower, or how he sees it as a superpower. I just found it like very coincidental to like what I was reading, and yeah, I think that is something that, you know, kids especially, or even people that are still, you know, struggling with their disabilities, can like kind of like a positive thing that they can capture from. Now, these are just some of the great books that I read in 2025. Feel free to comment down below if you've read any of these, or if you want to read, you know, any of these. And feel free to comment down below Like, what are the books that you enjoyed or you would consider as great reads of 2025? If you've made it this far, leave a green circle emoji. I hope you folks liked this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. And I'll also put down links and handles of my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there and support me there as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all.